Hello, this is Max Knight, and this is my Get Hitched video for the Athletic Training Educator course in the Indiana State Doctorate of Athletic Training program. And I am a first-year student in this program, and we'll be talking about patient education and healthcare literacy. So jumping right in, there were a couple videos and some readings this week. One of the videos was a talk on what healthcare literacy is, and the speaker, Dr. Rima Rudd, she expressed that a lot of patients don't have high literacy levels, and that really kind of bothers me because I don't know if that made me think right away, is our education system failing us, or as healthcare providers, are we failing them, or do the patients just not care? Do people just not care about their health? And it may be a conglomeration of, all those examples, but Dr. Rudd mentioned that a lot of patients that graduate high school may have a 12th grade literacy level or 8th grade literacy level or lower or higher, but the information they get from their healthcare providers are too high of literacy levels for them to comprehend, and that just gets me fired up because how are we as healthcare providers providing good care when we can't even communicate to our patients, and even with researchers and clinicians, maybe the researchers are providing us information that we understand, and it may be very beneficial information. So the whole communication side of things is just not where it needs to be right now. There's another video. It was a TED Talk, and I forget the speaker's name. I apologize. But he talked about salutogenesis, which was something I've never heard of before. But it basically comprehensively incorporates social and physical environments of patient care, and that we as clinicians or healthcare providers don't think about the social, behavioral, psychological things most of the time. And if we don't consider all factors, all environments, help manage them and help bring meaningful care, create rapport with these people, with these patients, then the patient's stress levels will increase, and they just won't get better. He talked about, or he said, we shouldn't be spending a lot of money to make drugs and do research on all these drugs to decrease our stress. Although it is important, but we need to be spending our time and money on figuring out how we can help patients on the social, psychological aspect of things, helping them get out of stressful environments and bringing them into environments that are going to help them with their health care and help them understand what's going on, and help them think about the questions they should be asking, to better themselves and to better the effectiveness of the healthcare they're getting. He also talked about a cycle of alienation, of how this is really important because even myself, just starting to practice here, I go straight to the physical issue. Do they have an ankle sprain or anything like that? Are there any physiological decrements in their body or anything? I don't think about home life too much until after the injury, or I talk to coach about so and so. So he talked about the initial stage where there's chaos early in a child's life, and that carries on to negatively affect their health care. They won't care as much about the things they do, the things they eat, if they get sick, and they'll care less about their education, which again hinders their own understanding of healthcare because If they're not being educated, they won't know, what questions to ask, what to do, how to treat themselves, who to talk to. These things start to, go down. And then with that stress from that chaos, the lack of resilience, or lack of bettering themselves in that early stage, they can be stuck in poverty, they can be unemployed, and then this again affects their health and their education, because we continually learn as we grow, and this leaves them alienated in this little spot in their own environment, their own social, chaotic, destructive environment. And we as healthcare providers need to step in and help them or understand their own social environments that they're living in, and help them get into a better one to help them understand their healthcare and help inform them. Moving on to another article this week about creating patient education materials. We need to be able to give them the key points, put them in bold, underlined font, the really important information. We need to reiterate that information. We need to leave blank spaces like we often see in school lectures and PowerPoint lectures, how there may be a good paragraph and there are underlined points or sections of a sentence where nothing's there, and it's for the patient or the student to write that information in. So that could be a prescription, that could be an exercise regimen, something along the lines of that, to bring that patient closer to their own care and help them understand that way. And also bringing in visuals, illustrations to help them conceptually understand that. And then we look into, there's an article on pediatric adherence. We're demanding healthcare regimens can stunt their development abilities, and this can affect their behavioral health and their psychological health, and that we need to consider family cultures, values, what their home life is like. So again, just to kind of close things up here, as clinicians, we need to make sure we need to understand the patient's healthcare literacy. We need to be able to meet them at that level, provide them with information they can understand, and then understand their environment outside of their injury or their condition to better bring them better care. Thank you.